What began as an experiment to bring my 11-year-old daughter into my business has evolved into Our Young Creators, a podcast, a training center, and a movement dedicated to equipping kids with real-world marketable skills so that they can fund their own brighter futures. We're here to inspire you to turn consumption time on devices into creation time and use technology as a tool to bond and not bicker with your kids. Join us each week as we share the inner workings of our partnership and bring you stories from guests of all ages and from all walks of life on our quest to nurture and to celebrate our young creators. Hello, everyone. Happy Tuesday. I am so glad you are tuning in live, catching the replay, or listening on the podcast. Today's topic is something that is part of my everyday as far as being a mom and a business owner, and it is this idea about compartmentalizing our lives. Again, I want to thank you for taking time to be here with me today to talk about this subject of compartmentalization, because it's something that I still find that I struggle with. It's a little bit of a challenge for me because for so long as a business owner, I tried really separating work from home. And what I really was doing was separating me as a person and my qualities and the things that made me unique, separate from my business. I was trying to portray this more corporate image because I thought that I needed to do that. That's kind of how my mentors were doing it. And I'm a very good student, and I like to follow their example and their recommendations. So I was putting on this mask, if you will. And for a while, I would say it did serve me because it allowed me to run the business and then be a mom. And people didn't really get to know who I was. And I thought that's really how business needed to be, that a business should be this corporate buttoned up thing, that me as the owner, I didn't really need to be part of it in the sense that I was the figurehead of the business, and that the values and my beliefs and everything about me needed to be kept private. And what I've learned really, especially in this past year or two, is that the more that I bring myself into my business, the more that I share of myself and my journey as a parent and as a business owner with all of you, the more people who get to hear this message and the more people that we can impact. So while I did try to hide behind my own self for so long, it's really been a journey of self-discovery to get to this place. And there are days when I wonder if I'm sharing too much. Am I being too vulnerable? I would love to know in the comments below, if you have a business and you have kids, how much of that personal life you bring in to your business. Let me know, because again, it is a topic that I face every day. And I definitely go into every day wondering, should I share this? Should I not share this? And even my kids sometimes question me and say, Mom, you're turning into one of those people that shares everything. And that is definitely not true, because there are still parts of my life that I keep private, and things that I'm growing on and working on as an individual. However, they kind of keep me in check. So now the question becomes, if I'm going to be including more of myself in my business, how much do I include my kids? Do I keep them separate, even though they're an integral part of everything we do here? Right? Both of my kids are now involved in my business. Daphne helps me with our classes and does a lot of the behind the scenes work to make our website happen and to do a lot of graphic design for us. And Sophie is now taking on the responsibility of learning how to be a content marketer on Pinterest. And she's soon going to be taking over that aspect of our business. So as they're part of my business, it really becomes a question of how much do I show them online? Because when I talk to other parents, especially, they're kind of in two camps. They either say, or if you look at their social media accounts, their kids are everywhere. So there's no fear of sharing their story, sharing their family with you. Other people, though, are very, very secretive. And I would say that they're compartmentalizing. But because our businesses are an extension of us, and we need to bring who we are into our businesses to show up properly, I'm leaning more towards, I want the world to be able to see what we're doing as a family, because as Kim says, taking off the mask attracts the right flavor. And if you didn't catch the episode I did a couple of weeks ago, I did a whole episode about what's your flavor. And Kim was the inspiration behind that video, and her comments here about there are some people in life who are going to be your flavor. Some people are not, and that is okay. And in one of my communities right now, we are actually reading a book by Lori Harder all about building your tribe. And it's so interesting, as I was reading this morning, about not really apologizing for who you are and being able to say no, to know that we can set boundaries, and the boundary may exist between personal life and professional life. However, there are so many overlaps. It's really doing our business a disservice if I don't share with you the things that we're doing behind the scenes to make it work, because my kids are the driving force behind everything that we do here. We work with a lot of families because they want to start using technology as a common language and a common bond. They don't want to see it as something that's bad, that we should get our kids off of, but rather, how can we get our kids and get them to use their devices, meeting them where they are, to help them learn that it's okay to consume information. However, it is our responsibility as individuals with unique gifts to share those gifts openly, lovingly, and from a place of authenticity, so we don't have the masks. So if you have advice on how you deal with personal life versus professional life, where they meet, what parts you keep separate, I would love to know in the comments, because again, this is something that every day I'm working towards getting a better handle at. People often think that because we work with kids and technology, that we have all the answers. And I, for one, can absolutely tell you that is not true. I am human. My kids are human, and all we can do is our best. Sometimes, though, we do have failures, and all we can do is pick ourselves up and keep moving on. Kim says, boundaries and being vulnerable are not mutually exclusive. That is an interesting point. Kim, I would love to know more about your viewpoint there, because this is a juggling act for me. I'm learning how to show up in a bigger way. I'm learning how to share with you the parts that are relevant for you that I think might serve you, and that you could see the possibilities of what is possible with you and your kids as we nurture and raise these young creators to become the innovators, the leaders, the future, really, of generations to come. So again, if you have more comments about this idea of compartmentalizing, do you do it? Yes or no? And how you make that work? Is there a certain balance that you strive for every day? Because I would really appreciate your feedback as we navigate these new waters of being more vulnerable to show up in a better way to serve all of you. Okay, my friends, I look forward to hearing your comments below, reading through them, and having a discussion with you about your different viewpoints on this subject of to compartmentalize or not. I wish you an amazing day, everyone. Talk to you tomorrow. Cheers. If you're ready to harness the power of technology and get your message out into the world in a big way to make the impact you know you were meant to make for yourself, for your business, or with your family, head over to Instagram or Facebook and message me at Our Young Creators and let me know that you're ready to be our next graduate in the upcoming Podcast in a Weekend class.